All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner, your go-to place for all things crypto. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and we've been having green days since the beginning of this week. But is that going to continue is the question. Also, another thing in this episode that I'm going to do is show you how I reevaluate my portfolio, how I decide which coins I'm going to be holding on to and which ones I'm going to get rid of, or I've already gotten rid of them. But one of the strategies that I have, one of the methods that I use to decide which ones to keep and which ones to get rid of is what I'm going to show you in this video. So sit tight. This is a strategy that I'm going to share with you that is definitely going to help you not only in your charting, not only in deciding whether you want to jump into a token, but more importantly, if you want to be holding on to a token, because it might be the case that moving the money from one token to some other one could be your best decision. And right now is a very good time to be making these decisions. So let's get started. All right, guys, so let's get straight into it. So looking at the weekly here, we can see that many altcoins are making big moves. We have SVX 47%, Bera 24%, Pepe is 16%, Shiba is 13%, Crypto.com's token CRO Kronos is 27%. That's because of a major partnership with the Trump organization. Bonk is 31%, Avalanche token is 12%. Many tokens. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see them here. So is this already a sign that we are making a recovery, that we are out of the correction, that we are on the path to new highs and everything? I would say not quite yet. Unfortunately, a lot of the tokens right now are making bearish patterns. Here is Solana, for instance, that is making this rising channel, which is typically a bearish pattern. And it's not the only one. We have Sui here, very similar performance, making that rising channel, which we are trying to break out of, but we are unable to. As you can see, we are just getting a resistance exactly at the top of this channel. So most likely over the next few days, we're going to see a drop to the bottom of the channel and see how we're going to respond to that. Are we going to break down from it, or are we going to do something different and maybe get out of this channel, invalidating this pattern? But so far, we're still within the constraints of this pattern. This is injective and it's making this rising flag formation, which is also a bearish pattern. Typically, it breaks on the downside today. It looks like it's breaking on the upside, but the next couple of days are going to really determine what's happening and show us whether this could be just a fake out. This is Pendo. Pendo is also making a rising flag formation, rising channel, which is also a bearish one, and it's meeting its resistance here at the top of this channel, failing to break the resistance. Also, this is where the 50th moving average is sitting. So again, failing to break above this. It broke yesterday, but today it went straight back. But today it pulled back. But today so far it's dropping and it's invalidating this pump yesterday, making it just a fake out. So all in all, what I'm saying here is that these tokens are all in all, what I'm saying here is that many of these altcoins are still making bearish patterns. Therefore, we can't really talk about new highs just yet. We are only going to be looking at a recovery from this correction, and the recovery seems to be undecided quite yet. I think everyone is still waiting to see how the Trump's tariffs are going to affect the markets. Markets are still very uncertain. That means a lot of volatility. That means even pumps like over the last couple of days could be met with a very quick pullback, very quick drop, erasing all of these gains over the last few days. So don't think that just because we had 2 or 3 days of green all across the board and pumps and everything, that doesn't quite mean that we're out of this correction just yet. And for me, this is a good time to reevaluate portfolios, to find out which are the tokens that have performed better than others and that have stronger potential. And I'm just going to give you an example here with a few tokens that I have the charts open already, that are on my watch list, and many of these are already in my portfolio. And one of the things, that's not the only one, but one of the things that I take into account is their performance during the corrections, so that I can decide whether there's any point holding these tokens for the next run. Because for the next run, not all of the tokens are going to perform the same way. Not all of these are going to have the same recovery in the weeks and the months coming up. So I want to actually relocate the funds from a token that maybe is not really having that much of a strong performance to a token that would have a better performance, token that is probably more hyped right now, that is having more interest from investors, and therefore it's going to perform better. So one way to do that, a very easy way, you don't have to be a chart guru, you don't have to know much about technical analysis. All you have to do is just estimate what is their drop during this correction, and from that point, what is needed for these tokens to get back to their previous highs. And this way you can judge whether it's worth holding on to that token. Is it going to, do you think it's going to perform so well that it can make that kind of percentage gains to go back to its previous high and to make new highs? Or maybe allocate the funds to a token that needs a much smaller percentage to get back to its previous high and then make new highs. This is what we're going to talk about in this video. So let's start here. First, I have H-bar open here. H-bar, from its most recent top to its most recent bottom, which was a few days ago, it's made a 55% drop, right? This is not a very big drop. You will see that some tokens have made much bigger drops than this. And this took 54 days for this drop to occur. So it's a shorter correction than many of the other outs. 55% drop, which means that it now needs 126% in order to get to its previous highs. And in fact, it's already made something like, what is that, 13% to this point. So if it doesn't drop anymore from here and it just continues to go up, it needs exactly 105% in order to get to its previous high. And then we can talk about new highs and everything. Typically, this is good performance. I like this. So I'm just giving you an example. That doesn't mean that you have to be buying H-bar. It has to be in your portfolio, anything like that. But it's just an example of a token that if I see that performance, most likely I will hold on to that token. Here is OM. OM is one of the strongest tokens right now. It's been on a strong run. In fact, even during the correction, the market correction, which all of the tokens were dropping, this one kept going higher. And it only faced a rejection very recently here, and it's still going in that pullback. It's still moving within that falling flag formation, which is a bullish one though. It is one of the few tokens that is making a bullish pattern here, so I'm expecting that it will continue to perform very well. It made a 36% correction and it only took 15 days. So it's been 2 weeks of a correction. And many of the other tokens you will see now have had 2 and 3 months corrections. This one had 15 days of a correction and it's already out of that correction, but it's still moving within that falling channel here. So it still has some room to keep going down. However, as I said, this is a bullish formation, so I'm expecting that it will be breaking on the upside. So therefore, this is one of the tokens that I'm most bullish on right now. Here is BNB. BNB had a 3-month correction, 97 days. And here I'm on the daily chart to make things easier. So when you see here 97 bars, that is 97 days. And only 36% correction, guys. This is by far one of the smallest corrections from all of the altcoins. 36% correction, it means right now it needs 56% in order to get back to previous high. And then we can talk about new highs. So, and again, a token that I like, performance that I like, and definitely it's going to stay in my portfolio. Here is Solana. Solana has had a 51-day correction, so this is a short one as well. It's just under 2 months. 62% correction. which was quite a significant one compared to the previous ones, definitely a significant one. It's making a bearish pattern right now, unfortunately, so I'm expecting a further downwards price action, possibly just briefly breaking from this channel, from this rising flag formation, confirming the pattern, and then finding support here. I expect that 127 or 120 is definitely going to find the support and bounce up from here. So a short-term pullback is still to be expected in Solana. Now, if Solana is to make a full recovery, what does it need? From its bottom, not from where it's right now, but from its bottom, it needs 160% pump. That's all it needs from its bottom. Now, if it doesn't drop much further from where it currently stays, it needs 116% pump from here, which I believe Solana can do easily. Therefore, Solana is staying in my portfolio. I mean, there is a lot of stuff happening on Solana, so definitely it's not one to ignore. Okay, this is SUI. Very similar performance to Solana, 64% correction over 3 months, so slightly longer, 67 days. Slightly longer it took for it to, I'm estimating from the market high to the market low here, the most recent high and most recent low, not to where we are currently, because we are already, we've had about 10 days of recovery. So I'm not considering where we are right now. I'm talking about its most recent bottom. If this was the correction bottom, because we are still during that correction, we had a relief rally, we could actually drop again, and this time we can make even lower lows. So this is something to consider. But if we are talking about recovery to its previous high, it needs 178% in order to get there. This is definitely bigger than what other tokens need in order to recover. And if we estimate from where we are currently to where we were to its previous top, it's 111%. That's what it needs in order to recover. And then from that point on, we can look into new highs. So if you're holding on to SUI, this is what you need, guys. Can it do it? Yes, I think it could. This is Injective. Now, Injective is also making that bearish pattern here. So I'm expecting that this breakout could actually be invalidated any day now. We're going to see how it's going to respond over the next couple of days. But if the whole market drops, if Bitcoin drops, this is definitely going to drop again. And this time, it could actually break down from this pattern, which is its usual performance. This pattern is a bearish one. Its usual performance is to break down on the downside, not on the upside. So this is an anomaly here that we are looking at. But what did Injective do during this correction? And it's been a 3-month correction, 96 days. It dropped by 76%, guys. This is a very big drop. Compared to all of the previous ones that we just looked at, this is by far the biggest drop so far. And from this point, from this bottom, in order to make a full recovery, Injective needs 330%. Now compare this to tokens like HBAR, or any of these tokens that need 175% here. Solana needed 111, BNB needs 56%, OM needs only 55%, and HBAR needs 126%. And here we are looking at Injective, 330% it needs in order to return to its previous high. The question really is, not only can it do it, are you prepared to wait for it to actually go by 330% up? What would that mean for the rest of the market? Because if Injective, a token that is not really hyped right now, we don't really hear that much talk and excitement about Injective right now. So what would it take for this to pump by 330%? I would argue that means that the whole market is pumping, the whole altcoin market is pumping hard, so that Injective is pumping by 330%, or maybe Injective does some miraculous partnership or anything like really major that really makes it everyone rush into Injective, which I'm not hearing about anything coming up for Injective that strong to actually push so much interest into this token. Therefore, this is a token that I'm definitely getting out of. I'd rather put the money into any of the tokens that I just mentioned previously, Any of these tokens needs a much smaller pump in order to get back to its previous highs, and all of these tokens are still, quite hot tokens. Injective is a hot token too, don't get me wrong, and there is a lot of interest in that token, but not as much interest as, for instance, Ohm. And Ohm only needs 55% to recover and make new highs. This one needs 330% to recover. I don't think I'm going to be waiting for injective. I don't know about you. This is literally, I'm sharing with you one way to analyze portfolios without being a chart expert, without knowing too much about charting. You just estimate what is the drop, then you estimate how much it needs in order to go back up, and then there you have it. This is Pendo. Pendo had a great performance last year, but then it went into this bear cycle, and it's had its own bear cycle much longer than anything else. I mean, this correction here is just like the rest of the corrections, around 3 months, 96 bars. But Pendo has had another very big correction here over the last year. And this is when many of the altcoins were pumping and Pendo was having a very long bear market, right? So this is not to be ignored. It's made a double top here, triple top in fact, and this is very bearish. So we are still seeing the effects of this triple top formation. And now that it's making this bearish flag formation as well, I'm not really convinced that Pendo is making a recovery just yet. I feel that it's going to fall out of this bearish pattern here and make new lows, and then after that we can look into a recovery, but it needs 300% in order to recover. And this is from the bottom, the current bottom. From where we are currently right now, where the price is right now, it needs 157%. So this is more doable. I'm not completely canceling Pendo, but I personally feel that there will be tokens having stronger performance than Pendo. Therefore, I'm out. For the moment, I'm out of Pendo. Okay, this is Stellar. And Stellar also very good performance over this correction. It was a longer correction. It took 100 days, 108 days in fact, so slightly longer than the rest, but it's only a 64% correction. So compared to some of the other tokens, it's a good performance. It needs 184% in order to make a full recovery and then make new highs, and I believe it can do that. Also, it is making this wedge pattern, which is a bullish one. So it typically breaks on the upside. So again, one of the few tokens right now that are actually moving within a bullish pattern rather than a bearish one. So this is another one that I'm adding to my portfolio. Chainlink. For the longest time, Chainlink was in my portfolio and I was really bullish on Chainlink. However, I got really disappointed by its performance over the past year and I'm out of Chainlink. I don't really think I'll be getting back into Chainlink. I'll show you why. But if you are a fan of Chainlink and you hold Link and you're hoping that it's going to perform well, let's see. Well, 62% correction, by far not the worst. 88 bars, 88 days, so not a bad performance. Overall, this is good performance. It needs now 164% in order to make a full recovery. And in fact, from where we are right now, it only needs 100%, which is very doable. I believe the Chainlink will easily do that. However, my problem with Chainlink is the chart against Bitcoin. If we look at this chart against Bitcoin, Chainlink is on a very long-term downtrend against Bitcoin. It is making this, let's go on the weekly because on the daily we can't even see the full pattern. This is the weekly on Chainlink. It's been on a downtrend against Bitcoin for the last 5 years. This is since August 2020. Chainlink is moving within this channel, which is, as you can see, a downwards channel. And every time it gets to the top of this channel, it actually gets rejected. And most recently, it did that in December last year. So in December, it actually approached the top of this channel. This was its chance to get out of this channel, to break on the upside and to invalidate this pattern and finally start a rally and, start outperforming Bitcoin. But it's failing to do that. So it is actually dropping in value against Bitcoin consistently from 2020 when it was at 0.0016 sats, and it's currently at 0.00017 sats, right? So this is really not a good performance, guys, in the long term. Therefore, in the long term, I'm not interested in Chainlink. Now, if you're only looking at fiat value, then you might be talking about $30 Chainlink, you might be talking about $40, even $50 Chainlink, and you might be thinking, oh yeah, this is a very good pump. If I buy it at 15 right now and it goes to 55, this is a very good profit for me. But the question is, what is Bitcoin going to do during that time? Because if Chainlink is going to go to $50, and if Chainlink is on a downtrend against Bitcoin, most likely Bitcoin is going to be making even bigger pumps. And in that case, aren't you better holding Bitcoin rather than Chainlink? This is really a question for you. I'm not going to be giving you advice here. This is not financial advice. I'm merely sharing my opinion, and I'm sharing my experience and what I'm doing, what works for me. It doesn't mean it has to work for you, but this is my stance with Chainlink. Let's move on to the next one, and this is NEAR. Another token that I'm very disappointed with, another token that I'm exiting. I think I already exited actually all of my positions. I'm not interested in NEAR. Now, this is the performance it did over this correction. 75% correction, guys, over the course of 96 days. So again, 3 months correction, 75% drop. It means it needs now 300% in order to get back to its previous highs, 298% in fact. That's what it needs in order to fully recover. Okay, from where we are currently, it needs less. If we don't drop anymore, it needs only 177%. But compared to tokens that only need 50 and 60%, and this one needs 177 from today or 300 from its bottom, that's not a good performance. And on top of it, it is making this bearish formation here, which again, this usually breaks on the downside. It is a continuation pattern. We are going down, we are making this relief rally, and now we are about to drop again, to make another drop. We might not go to the previous low, we might not make a bigger drop or anything like that. We could actually just drop and make a higher low, which would be bullish, but it will be a drop nonetheless. So right now, as of today, we are finding the resistance at this 50th moving average. We are failing to break above it, and I'm expecting further downwards price action. At the moment, I'm not interested in this token, but more so, for the longer term, I'm not interested in this token. This is its performance against Bitcoin. Again, you can see here for we printed a double top formation, and we've been going down ever since. And it doesn't seem like we are ready for this recovery just yet. It looks to me like we are continuing. We are finding a strong resistance with the 50th moving average, and every time we challenge this moving average, besides here in December when we managed to very briefly break above it, but ever since then we are below it. It is a resistance, and we are failing to break above this resistance. Every time we come close to that 50th moving average, we get rejected, and then we make another drop. So until we break above this moving average, we manage to hold on to it and flip it into a support, which means as we break above it, we trend above it, and then we come at some point, we come down and we test it. As we test it, it has to hold us. This is when it's confirmed as a support. Here, we tested it, it broke. We didn't manage to hold it as support. So for me, the only time I'm going to be interested in this token is once we break above the 50th moving average, we confirm it as a support, so we come to retest it, we confirm it as a support, and from that point on, we start making higher highs, and we start trending above this 50th moving average. Only then I will be interested in NEAR. And this is against Bitcoin, because if NEAR is not going to outperform Bitcoin, I have no business holding that token. I'm better off just holding Bitcoin. These are the two things that I consider, the main two things that I consider when I'm estimating whether a token will stay in my portfolio or whether it will go in my portfolio in the first place, but also if it's going to stay in my portfolio. Because a lot of the times when we diversify, we jump into too many tokens, and then we find out after a period of time, we estimate their performance and we find out they didn't really perform that well. So no point holding them. Okay, let's move on to Doge. Doge has made a 70% correction, guys, over this last few months. It's been 3 months as well, since December. And right now it needs 240% in order to make a full recovery. Not right now. From the bottom of this correction, it needs 240%. Right now, it needs 147% in order to make a full recovery. It can do that. Yes, Doge can do that. It's not difficult, it's not impossible at all. However, it's yet another token that I'm not going to be holding. I'm not going to be waiting for that kind of pumps in order to recover. Because, again, other tokens need much less. And again, Doge is below its 50th moving average against Bitcoin. This right now is the first time that we are able to almost touch that 50th moving average. And any moment now, any day now, you're going to see the rejection. I'm expecting a rejection from here, and I'm expecting a continuation of this downtrend against Bitcoin. Therefore, I'm not interested in Doge either. Say, another token that I exited. I'm gonna finish with this because there's no point going anymore. I don't want to make this video much longer. You already get the point. This is what I'm saying, guys. Another token that I exited. Why? It had a 76% correction. This means it needs now 300% in order to recover. 328% in fact, in order to make a full recovery. Do I want to wait for that? No, I don't. I want to put the money into tokens that need 50, 60, maybe 100% pumps in order to recover, not 300. Yes, it's made a bit of a recovery already. So if we look at the price right now, it's 253%. But as you can see from all of the tokens that I just showed you, this is by far the one that needs the biggest pumps in order to recover. And I'm not seeing that much interest. I'm not seeing that much hype into, say, in order to pump it so far, in order to make that full recovery, and then in order to make new highs. So no, I'm not interested in this token. Let's see its performance against Bitcoin. So that's another thing. Again, the same as many of the other ones I showed you, and Chainlink as well and everything. Under the 50th moving average, we are bearish. And this is against Bitcoin. We are under the 50th moving average. We challenged it here in February, just recently, and we got rejected. So yet again, we are now coming close to that 50th moving average. I'm expecting another rejection and a continuation. So until I see this one or any token move above the 50th move, that's the EMA, by the way, above the 50th EMA on the daily against Bitcoin, I'm not interested in that token, because when we are below that 50th moving average, we are bearish. If we are bearish against Bitcoin, there's no point holding that token. So hopefully this strategy, guys, is going to help you reevaluate your portfolio, decide what you want to be holding for the next rally, because we are going to have another rally. Definitely, we are going to have a few more rallies actually throughout this year, but we are going to make a recovery. And with Bitcoin, I'm expecting new highs. I'm not expecting new highs with every altcoin, but definitely with Bitcoin, I'm expecting new highs. So we have to keep an eye on the charts of all of these outs against Bitcoin and see how do they perform against Bitcoin. Are they able to break this 50th moving average, which most of them are below right now? And those that manage to break and stay above the 50th moving average on the daily, those are the really strong contenders to be in your portfolios, because these are the ones that will be making new highs. One last thing, look at Ohm, because I didn't go into Ohm against Bitcoin when I was looking at the chart. This is Ohm Mantra, the token of Mantra, against Bitcoin. It is already above the 50th moving average. It's already looking bullish, and it's making a bullish pattern. And if you need to know more about the patterns, I do have a free PDF. You can grab it from the link below, or you can scan this QR code. It is a free PDF with all of the top patterns, the most common charting patterns that we use, that all of the traders are constantly using in order to predict whether we are expecting a drop or a pump. And this one here is showing against Bitcoin and also against fiat. It is showing bullish patterns, and it is above the 50th moving average. There is every reason for me to be into this token. So this is everything. This is the strategy. I hope this helps, guys. And if you have any questions, just drop in the comments below. Ask me anything, or if you want any specific coins to chart to mention in my next analysis, then drop them in the comments below. Now, a reminder, just like I emphasized the importance of using cold wallets, the OneKey Pro stands out as my top recommendation for safeguarding your digital assets. This model is equipped with not one but 4 security chips with the highest industry standards. But what I love most about the OneKey Pro is that it has air-gapped signing capabilities, so you can securely confirm transactions without ever connecting to the internet. This is done by scanning QR codes, and there is a camera to facilitate this. There is also Bluetooth connectivity should you wish to use that. It makes it unique because it is the first device of its kind to offer both Bluetooth connectivity and air-gapped mode. I prefer air-gapped most of the time, but if I'm in a rush, I would use the Bluetooth option. I have a choice, which is great. And there's other things that make it worth your money, like the biometric authentication, which is just adding an extra layer of security. Plus, it supports thousands of cryptocurrencies. The list is too long to go through it here. And it's also the first cold wallet with wireless charging capability. These are all unique features that no other device currently offers. It's super lightweight and compact, fitting easily in my pocket or bag, ideal for my travels throughout the year. And whether you're at home or on the move, this wallet seamlessly integrates with both desktop and mobile phones. And the best part, you get 10% discount with my link, the most of any other YouTuber out there. So use the link, it's in the description below, or you can scan this QR code to get the discount. And this is for all of the OneKey products, not just for this wallet. I also love the touch model and even the older one, the OneKey Classic. They're very easy to use. The OneKey Classic is the most simple one, but also it is the thinnest and the lightest of all of them. So it is perfect for on the go. It doesn't have a full color display and it's not that easy to navigate with just 4 buttons. But for simple stuff and for long-term holdings where you don't really have to make too many transactions too often, it is perfect. So there's plenty of choice. You can download my free ebook where I break down these and many other devices currently on the market, so you can compare and choose the right one for you. Remember, always own your private keys and keep your crypto safe. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos and I'll see you there.